Hey y'all, long time no see, no hear, no talk. I don't know. This is MaKendree Van Hall, the pipe smoking, bourbon drinking, today it's Scotch, agnostic minister and pod pastor, formerly known as Christopher. So I got to clear up some confusion today. I am now going by a chosen name because I've recently discovered I'm non-binary. If you would like to know more, I'm sure you can find that back in our library of videos and podcasts. And the name MaKendree reflects that a little bit more than Christopher ever did. Secondly, it's a shared name with my children. And third, because I never liked the name Christopher, to be honest. And most importantly, I hate being called Chris. Like my entire life, I could not stand it when people would literally refuse to call me by my full name when I would introduce myself with my full name. So here we are. And there's many other reasons for this, but I'm not going to bore you with those because we got a lot to talk about. This is the first time that I've actually preached in 2 months because everything else was pre-recorded. And y'all better buckle up because this broadcast will contain mature content. So viewer discretion is advised. This just in. Biggest dick on Earth, Jeff Bezos, launched to the edge of space inside of a rocket that somewhat resembles a giant wee-wee. Proving once and for all the billionaires are playing God because Bezos clearly created a craft to the heavens in his own image. Crowd control to Major Dong. Jeff Bezos, who now holds the record for most elaborate unsolicited dick pic, was asked about the odd design, and Jeff Bezos said, "I have been fucking the planet my entire career and wanted the design on my rocket to be on brand with that." Jeff, you have all the money in the world, literally, and you could become Tony Stark, and you chose to become Dr. Evil. That's pretty amateur, bro. And the thing that stands out to me most about the Bezos rocket is that it was a decision. That was a choice. There was a committee meeting. At some point, schematics were made, plans were drafted, models were constructed, insurance policies and livable wages were cut and or denied. I mean, there was good news and bad news for citizens of Earth regarding Bezos and his cocket rocket. The good news is, for a brief moment, we finally lived on a planet without Jeff Bezos, and the bad news is that he returned without incident. Elon Musk was frustrated that Jeff's rocket trip debuted before his own, but Elon assured the world that his rocket is at least 4 inches bigger than Jeff's if you measure it from the base. It's very important. And this dick move of epic proportions was not a happy accident, nor was it a happy ending, pun not intended, because billionaires have plans to pour even more of their resources, well, our resources really, into their egotistical space traveling ambitions. And those plans are to relocate manufacturing facilities for their products into space because they no longer want to pollute our atmosphere. I mean, aren't some of these billionaires the ones that said the Green New Deal was going to be too expensive? Now, I'm not an economist, but space manufacturing seems to be a little bit more expensive than free and renewable energy from a nuclear reactor that rises and sets every day. I don't know, again, I'm just a humble podcaster. Y'all, I just got back from my summer visitation with my kids that I had not seen in over a year due to the pandemic. So I took my entire year's worth of vacation days all at once. It was much needed. I got a much needed reprieve. And in the process of this resting period, I felt completely rejuvenated in regards to my passion for ministry and my calling to preach. And with my newfound sense of renewal, I was thrilled to get back into my digital pulpit here and imagine how I felt when I realized that the first sermon that I have to preach in months is going to be covering a giant dick in space inside of a rocket that looks like a penis. So frustrating. And upon seeing the behavior of Jeff Bezos, I realized why my vacation was so necessary. Because I was getting burnt out. And not burnout from preaching, I'm burnt out by the culture that I constantly have to preach to that is never, or it seems like it's never going to change. Billionaires are now talking about cultivating utopias on other worlds. How about fucking start with the one that your companies help to destroy? I mean, do you really think, y'all, that these billionaire created utopias are going to benefit us, the working class, the middle class in any way, shape, or form? And what is more baffling to me is that so many leaders in the conservative evangelical world, they're excited about this. This week, pastors used the Bezos trip and his cocket rocket as an opportunity to promote their belief in unbridled capitalism and how they feel that is a biblical ideal. They were saying things from the pulpit like, see what God-given liberty does. We're going to space. We're going to space? Collectively, because I don't recall ever riding on a spacecraft that looked like a giant vibrator. And believe me, if I did remember it, there would be a paper trail because I would at bare minimum, had a flurry of punny videos in my Facebook stories documenting that journey. I'd be like, ground control, this is MaKendree reporting from the shaft of the ship. Ground control, I'm in the shaft. Ground control, do you copy? Testes, 1, 2, because I'm perpetually 5 years old. So, man, I gotta tell you, we ain't going nowhere with these fools. We ain't going to space. We gotta go to work so the billionaires can go to space. And if you don't believe that that's what's going on, I'm gonna actually take a real quote. This is actually true from Jeff Bezos, where he said on his social media accounts that I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer because you all paid for this.
And then I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer because you guys paid for all of this. So seriously, for every Amazon customer out there and every Amazon employee, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Seriously, for every Amazon customer out there, I, Jeff Bezos, and every Amazon employee, I, Jeff Bezos, thank you from the bottom of my heart very much. It's much appreciated. And Jeff, as an Amazon Prime member who is unfortunately forced to use your company because I can't find things locally anymore because, Amazon destroyed the retail market, I just want to say on behalf of all of us, you're not fucking welcome. I mean, really? If you wanted to thank us, disclose how much wealth you actually have instead of hiding it in offshore bank accounts. So all economists can do is lowball how much money you're hoarding. And then if you really wanted to thank us, take that amount and pay taxes on it. If you wanted to thank us, then how about opening vaccine production facilities or fund vaccine production facilities to help fight this pandemic and to help fight misinformation in social media? If you wanted to thank us, then maybe provide Flint with clean water. I don't know if you know this or not. It hasn't had clean water for a while. With all your space trips, you might have missed that in the news. And if you wanted to thank your employees, then maybe give them livable fucking wages with benefits. I don't know. Just a thought. Because these grand gestures of false gratitude, if that's all you're going to offer up the world, then I know exactly where you can park your new spaceship, bud. There's a story that unfolds in the scriptures about rich men abusing their workforce to achieve egotistical goals. Solomon built the first temple of Jerusalem using over 150,000 slaves that lived in harsh conditions for 7 years in order to build his temple to the Lord. And if you read the story, it's clearly for his own ego. And this act was actually condemned by the prophets in the text. And later in the story, the temple is utterly destroyed by the Babylonians under the leadership of their king, Nebuchadnezzar. Now, there is zero archaeological or historical evidence that this temple to the Lord ever even existed. It's likely a metaphor, but the morals of the story are quite relevant for today, especially given the events of this week. Because later, when Jehoiakim, king of Judah, sought to build his palace through the use of forced labor, the prophet Jeremiah severely criticized the king for this abuse of power and for these ambitions. And today, Bezos would do well to listen to this piece of ancient wisdom because the scriptures say this: "Woe to him who builds his house by unrighteousness, and his upper rooms by injustice, who makes his neighbors work for nothing and does not give them their fair wage. You hear that, Bezos? Text continues. Corrupt kings say, I will build myself a great palace with spacious upper rooms. So he makes large windows in it, panels it with cedar, and decorates it in red. Does it make you a king to have more and more cedar? Pause right there. Bezos, does it make you a king to have more and more wood? Except yours goes to space. The text continues. Did not your father have food and drink? He did what was right and just, so all went well with him. Your father defended the cause of the poor and the needy, and so all went well. Is that not what it means to know God? But your eyes and your heart are set only on dishonest gain, on shedding innocent blood, and on oppression and extortion. Do you see the parallels in this story? Corrupt kings of old wanted to use slave labor to get more wood, and Jeff Bezos wants to use an impoverished workforce to pay for his spaceship shaped like wood. But I'm afraid that history does not favor Bezos, because I believe that the 99%, us, we the people, we've had enough of these conditions, and that happens throughout our history. People just get enough, and I feel that tension now. And we're starting a nonviolent but radical revolution, and we're rising up to reclaim what should have always been rightfully ours, just like our ancestors in the scriptures did. So take heart, dear friends, because like the Temple of Solomon that was built on the back of oppression and extortion, the system that created billionaires will crumble, because we, the working class, the middle class, we're sick and tired of serving the whims of giant dicks, and I'm not referring to the rocket. So until next week, no justice, no peace. And if we collectively know justice, then we will truly and surely know peace. Love y'all.
And now, may the revolution of Jesus go with you wherever it may send you. May it guide you in healing this wasteland and protect you through the storm. May it lead you through this world seeking the justice it demands for you and for others. And may it bring you home preparing to continue love's mission beyond your doors. Grace and justice to you.